It's Opex. Welcome back to another video. Today we have another topic for you. Today I want to talk about basically electronics, technology, etc. And how much it's destroying your mental health, let alone your physical health, let alone your spiritual health. And that's basically what I want to talk about today. So let's just dive into it. Doom. This is a philosophy channel. I just talked to the guy who made the last video, the last topic to the video, and he gave me a bunch of shit on, like he didn't know he was on a philosophy channel or something. Anyways, let's dive into this video. I think it's rather important. Let me discuss what I've done recently. About back in September or so, I sold my PlayStation 4. I never really used it. It was collecting dust anyways, for the most part. The only thing I really played was like UFC 4. But anyways, video games. That's technology. You're staring at a screen. It's affecting your day. It's affecting how much you put into, in terms of energy into your day, in terms of energy into those things that you need or want or desire. So, I stopped playing video games back in September. Completely. Like, I haven't played a video game since. My computer, I have a desktop computer. I only played one video game on there, and it was also my device to watch YouTube videos and to be stuck on video games or YouTube all day. And I got rid of these things. And I think that it did extraordinary things in my life. And I want to talk about it now because it's been a number of months and I can actually conclude why you guys should be getting rid of your video games and these technologies and televisions. Not just because the rhetoric that comes with cable and you know, your normal channels, etc., but because you have a life to live. And if you're constantly going into the metaverse or these fictional places that are essentially in your mind, I mean, if you're on Facebook, right? What are you doing on Facebook? What are you doing? You are trying to get likes. You are posting things. You're maybe posting pictures and what's going on in your life and maybe your biases, maybe your those things that you shouldn't be doing. You have fake friends, fake information. It's a fake lifestyle. Now, you add that idea in with video games or your cable TV or watching movies every fucking day, let alone, you know, even if you're going once a week. It's affecting you. Now, okay. So I stopped playing video games. I haven't gotten off YouTube, but I have a new philosophy, a new thing where I don't get onto video games or YouTube or anything for that matter. I don't play any video games now. But the point is, I don't get onto YouTube until after everything I want to do in the day is done. Essentially, the light goes... So I don't have any artificial light in my area, in where I live. I don't like artificial light. So as soon as the sun goes down, it's pitch black, right? And I have literally nothing left to do. I can't read the Bible anymore. I can't do those things I want to do anymore because I can't see. And at that point, yes, I will indulge into some YouTube or whatever. The fights are tomorrow night, the UFC fights. So there are things that I enjoy doing still, but I'm putting it at such a small portion of my life. See, if you're constantly can't wait to get home to watch video game or play video games or watch movies or whatever it is that you do, that new TV show, or you maybe binge watch Hulu or Netflix or whatever you do, see, this is hurting you because you have all day to be thinking about healthy things to be doing or putting your energy into. But you can't wait to, I got this new video game, so I can't wait to get home and play this video game or movie or whatever just came out or their TV show that night. As somebody who's guilty, because I'm a UFC fan, a huge UFC fan, or mixed martial arts in general, I love watching the events. I can't wait. It's one of those things I look forward to. And I know some of you guys look forward to your things every fucking day. That's where the harm comes in. See, you have reality faced right in front of you every day. Relationships, communication, someone just walks by you. If you're playing video games all the time and you got video games on your mind and unrealistic things on your mind, essentially, like because you're going to fantasy land when you think of movies and TV shows, and that's fantasy. That's all fantasy. That's all scripted. That's all triggered, right? Like you trigger an event to do something else, and that's essentially how that works, right? It's all programmed, rather. That's what I was looking for. So you have a programmed mind, and you can't wait to get into artificial reality, I'll call it, because it's an artificial reality, whether it's social media, movies, video games, it all is. It's artificial. So you are engaging daily into artificial realities, which then take a forefront from your reality. So instead of thinking to yourself, I got to work today, I got to do this, I want to do that, I want to take care of these things, I want to do my shopping, I want to do those things I want to do, maybe I want to hang out with friends, maybe I want to do this or that or the third, maybe, I want to go work out. Things like that all get pushed to the wayside, pushed to the fucking back burner, because your forefront's on TVs, movies, video games, whatever it may be. Could even be your sporting events, whatever it may be. Again, I still have to watch UFC every Saturday. It's the only thing I enjoy. So once a week, essentially, I have to watch UFC. And it's usually a 6-hour event or more. So the point is I'm getting at is that if you are constantly thinking in terms of artificial reality, your video game came out, your movie came out, and you're thinking of that during your day, not only is your energy being wasted or vacuumed out of you to incorporate these new ideas of artificial realities, you are essentially already in a metaverse psychologically. And I think that's very important to understand. I can go on all day with this in terms of trying to get you to understand where I'm coming from. But I think that as long as you understand where I'm coming from to some extent, we can progress, because you know how I can turn a 3-minute video into a 300-minute video. So ultimately, you have this one life to lead. You can work hard, you can get your money, you can actually harvest resources in today's reality, whether that is money, diamonds, gold, clothing, items, food, whatever it may be. Maybe you need a new cooker, a new coffee maker, a girlfriend, a wife, family, kids, maybe your health. These are all being put into the back burner because you are choosing to go into a comfort zone at the end of the day, in which is, wow. I swear, there's no sexy women that show up here until I turn on this camera. So, anyways, I got to pick up one of these girls. I'm going to have to pick one of them up. So me, if I was thinking, video games and stuff, I wouldn't even be aware enough to even see my surroundings, because you're constantly infiltrating your mind to be artificially programmed. So you're used to it at this point, right? It's 2022. You're used to comfort zones, couch, staring at a screen, staring at a monitor, screen, a phone, whatever screen. You're used to it. And your body almost reacts that way naturally to indulge into these things. Like if you're waiting at the DMV, everyone has their phone in front of them staring at a phone. I'm the only weird one who's looking around, have no one to talk to because everyone's staring at a screen. This guy over here, he's under the, I don't want to show you or anything. But, he rode his bike here maybe, I'm going to guess 5 hours ago. I've been here about 3 hours. I worked out, played basketball, read the Bible like I always do. This is one of the places I do it at. And this guy's been here before me. And I've been here since like 8. And it's probably 11 something now. But this guy is just staring at his phone the whole time he was here. His eyes never even came up. His neck is down here like this. So your physical health is being drained through this idea, right? Where you're staring at a screen. Now, of course, I'm facing my camera towards me right now. My phone towards me right now. The only reason I'm even making videos is because I know for a fact something's going to hit home for somebody. And they can make those changes and see themselves how drastically their life can change in a positive fashion if they do understand what I'm saying. I'm not here to just cater to your guys' biases or your interpretations of reality or your rhetoric, those echo chamber bubbles. That's why I don't pick teams, because it's all echo chamber rhetoric. I don't even like saying I'm a Christian sometimes. The only thing I really enjoy saying is that I'm a philosopher, because that means I'm different than you. That means that. But if you're a Christian, well, you're looking for like-minded people. If you are a liberal, you're looking for like-minded people, right? And when they go against or outside of the realm, because they think, probably, or they have a different idea than you, which is natural, it's just weird to me that a lot of people, they can't wait to hear their beliefs. So they'll go to church, and I see these Christians all the time. They'll go to church and they'll start doing things. So the pastor might say, we need to rebuke Satan today. And then it hits home for them because I say that almost every day. And then they're like, yeah, rebuke Satan. You can go to a liberal rally and they can be, oh, we need gay rights. Yeah, why do people hate gays? But it's all bullshit. You are not thinking independently. You are regurgitating your own rhetoric in an echo chamber fashion or facet. So the point I'm getting at is that it's good to go outside of that rhetoric. When you turn on your TV and you are digesting shit all the time into your brain, just know that's artificially inseminated, basically. Obviously, it's not really inseminated, but that's how I look at it. You are bent over and they're fucking throwing loads into your asshole constantly. And you eat it up and you believe it and then you start saying it to other people. People like me like to call people like you repeaters. You're just repeating information. You read this Bible verse and you repeated it. Congratulations. When you're at school, you are taught to be like this. They have trained you to be obedient slaves, to regurgitate information on command. They have made you and trained you to be this way since a very young age. You got to memorize names and dates in history class, right? You got to understand how mathematics works. So you have to understand this is how it's done. There is no other way. But that's not really the case, because we can all read a book, let's say a history book, and we can get a lot of different information out of that, depending on how we understand reality, how we understand what we're reading. Because we can all read the same thing, like Hitler killed 6 million Jews, right? But it takes a person to understand reality to question that. Because then when you find out that Hitler never killed 6 million Jews, not even fucking close, not even one on record, why do they want to tell you that and teach you that? So anyways, your cable TV wants you in fear mode. You're going to be scared about things that you can't see. And then you're going to affect others and treat others differently based on that rhetoric instead of understanding reality. But if you turn off your TV, right? And this technology that's being bombarded you with these brain waves and these different types of frequencies, fear mongering, etc. You are more apt to, when you get rid of that stuff, you can align with reality. But you can't do that if you're constantly being bombarded with information that you believe to be as higher authority or truth. So when the guy on Fox News says, this is what's going on in the news today and blah, 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 and then you're going along with that rhetoric. And that rhetoric is only hurting you or putting you in a fearful state, affecting your immune system, your health, your mental health, physical health. It's affecting you. And most times, more often than not, when you're sitting home, just taking in all that information, you're sitting on a couch. You are already in lazy mode. You might have a bucket of fucking ice cream, which is terrible for you. Carbs and sugar. Terrible for you, let alone dairy. So, what are we doing? When you go into a comfortable state of your hypnosis and you are being brainwashed through the psychosis and the psychological warfare that's going on right now, you are unable to think for yourself. Therefore, you need biases or information rhetoric based on biases that you already have. So if you are a liberal, then you're not going to hear why we need guns. You're going to hear why you just want to hear why we don't need guns, right? Like, we're in 2022, we don't need guns anymore. We have the police, whatever bullshit, right? Like, guns kill people, whatever rhetoric that is. You have to hear that. Going to video games, going to movies and such like that. We can dive into how like movies are rhetoric and propaganda, etc. Even video games nowadays are. They kind of loosen us up to this reality. They would have never been able to shut down the world in 2020. They would have never been able to if they didn't have TV, TV programming, cable, video games, right? So they gotta have and movies, right? Like, these things have conditioned you to surrender your rights. But you don't see it, do you? How many zombie movies did we have to see in the last 20 years? How many? Before your brain got used to the idea when a virus attacks people, you give up all your rights and you surrender to the government and they will have full control over you all of a sudden. How many movies did you see like that? How many Black Ops Nazi zombies bullshits did you have to go through before you understood that men with guns with power are allowed to take away your rights and power, and then they supersede everything? And how often have you gotten to the realization that when government got involved, it only got worse? So when it happened in reality, you just accepted it. Well, the government's doing the wrong thing, but we'll just accept it because we're just powerless slaves. Playing a video game doesn't make you a stronger, more moral person, right? There are some perks to video games, and I get that, and I've made a video on that in the past, so I'm not going to regurgitate or reiterate that in any facet. But I will say that the video games themselves are taking you away from happiness and longevity in the reality of your life. Your everyday reality, right? As opposed to the metaverse, I'll call it. I'm just going to call that bullshit the metaverse. Where you're just in bullshit. You're getting NFTs now? Your cryptocurrency? They have created an artificial world for you. For people like you to just remain dumb, docile, and weak. And slaves. I mean, if you're stuck with a VR glass or headset, and you're running into the wall and you're trying to increase your tokens or coins or whatever the monetary value is in your metaverse, trying to increase that or your experience level or whatever it may be in the metaverse, and you're spending all your time on your phone playing these video games that, constantly need your assistance to play in, these video games that are, I go on my phone video games during work, and when I get out of work, I go on my PlayStation 4 or 5, whatever it may be these days, or desktop, and or you'll watch some YouTube videos or movies all day long. Why? So all day long, in some facet or another, you are hooked into the matrix of the virtual reality world, the metaverse. You're stuck into this world. Instead of getting those things you want in real life and being the alpha, they have programmed you to lower your testosterone. Obviously, if you're sitting on a couch, you're not raising your testosterone at all. There's basically virtual reality porn now. Like, these people are never going to have full balls and be able to have a full idea of reality, or even be able to voice an opinion without the biases and rhetoric that they're succumbed to. For example, what are we supposed to call it? The sickness? We're supposed to call it something. I think just the sickness. We can just call it the sickness, even though it's some shit that was created in a lab. Anyways, the sickness would have never stopped the world if you weren't all brain dead. And constantly succumb to that information. Zombie movie after zombie movie. Then they have, TV programs like The Walking Dead, getting you used to some bullshit that the government is involved in this, and just some bullshit that is not helping you at all. It's not helping you at all. It's just making you weak and more susceptible and vulnerable. See, you're not going to go, if you're a video gamer, tell me how often video gamers go to the park and do 100 pull-ups and 200 push-ups and 400 squats and, whatever, and do some bicep curls, whatever. Tell me, how many video gamers are doing that? How many video gamers are putting their kids' lives first? Let alone how many video gamers even have kids? So it becomes one of those things, you're being, I don't want to say replaced, you're being displaced in reality. And you're being replaced into a virtual reality with no power whatsoever, except in this virtual reality metaverse place. I'm the best video gamer, Call of Duty guy ever. And me and my team, we just destroy people every night, 7 days a fucking week. Okay. Tell me how that's helping you in your life. Tell me how that's helping your children's lives. Tell me how that's physically making you better. Or even mentally. Well, mentally, I'm really thinking during these situations. No, you're being broken down. It's like these people some people who take shrooms, they might think that they all of a sudden have a third eye or a higher understanding of reality, which is true, because when you take shrooms, it expands your brain, and, a mind stretched to new dimensions cannot revert to its original size. I mean, it's just like you get new information, you have to conform to that new information, right? And if you don't, you're not going to ever learn in life or understand life. Anyways, this video is already getting out of hand. What I was trying to say is, I'm done with video games for months now, since September. I don't really watch YouTube till a certain time at night when it's dark and I have really nothing really left to do. And I'll be like, okay, well, instead of just twiddling my thumbs, I'll go on YouTube or something, right? And watch, some press conference from the UFC or whatever it may be, right? Or learn new things like new trades. But if you are in that comfort zone and you strive to be in this position every day where it's constantly, you're stuck in the metaverse, you're hurting yourself. You're physically weaker, you're mentally weaker, and you're definitely spiritually weaker. You're going to be a weaker person. You're going to be more docile and vulnerable to corruption, tyranny, your peers, and the person on TV that's telling you there's a new sickness, so you need to get you're going to not be able to do things now. You're not, because the government now all of a sudden has more power over you, over something you can't see. and you can't even form many conclusions on naturally because you are stuck in the rhetoric zone. So, what the mind usually does when faced with opposing information, if you have, if you're a liberal and all you think is, there's a virus out there, it's scary, you need to stay 6 feet, wear a mask, get vaccinated 16 times, and if you're stuck in that mindset, it's never going to click. Wait, we need another vaccine? Another one? Wait, this isn't going away? Wait, the flu, they started doing flu vaccines 100 years ago? And now all of a sudden the flu is still, like, you can't think for yourself because you're bombarded with the rhetoric that is an echo chamber of where you feel comforted in. And because you're comforted in that comfort zone, you're not going to try to get out of that comfort zone. You're not trying to understand information. You block out information. And you will fight to protect the information that you already believe or you already have a bias in. See, biases are fine as long as you can understand that they are biases, right? And if you are going to surrender to your bias constantly, you're never going to learn. You're never going to have new information. You're going to be stuck in a tribalistic team. You're never going to be enlightened. You can never really have 130 IQ, for example. You can never really be wise because you're constantly surrendering to information from the guy on the podium on TV. And you're not going to put two and two together because you're constantly in fantasy realm watching movies and playing video games. You think life is a fantasy. In fact, no. Let me rephrase that. You don't think that. You don't even know your life is a fantasy. You're living a fantasy life. You might as well not have eyeballs. You might as well just be blind and just, not be in the world, right? Because you're stuck into this place, this technology. But when you realize that, like 30 years ago, people were skinnier, people had better health, people lived longer, and I can go on all day. People had better relationships. People would go out and bars would be packed. You know what I mean? Now it's the hardest thing to find is just a few people that can even tolerate each other, because you go out and it's like, oh, this person's a different color than me, this person's a different gender, this person has different ideas. Who the fuck cares? Back 30 years ago, everyone was getting along and not caring about these things, but they have infiltrated this into your psyche, your mind, and it's hard to get out of your mind when all you're doing is returning to that comfort zone to be bombarded with the same information that's just going to revitalize your bias and fortify that bias. So the point is I'm getting at here, before this gets stupid out of hand, because I got some shit I got to do today, is get out of that comfort zone. Turn off your TV. And I'm serious when I say this. Turn off your TV, maybe even put it to the road. I don't have a TV, right? I mean, I have TVs. I sold some TVs before moving back down to Florida, but I don't have a TV with me. I don't have much with me. I live a minimalistic lifestyle. I like to be outside, enjoy my life, talk to people, understand reality, really have a clear, conscious mind, rather than a biased, immoral mind, only thinking based on rhetoric, virtue signaling bullshit, and just staying in my comfort zone all day, where you're just getting fat, lazy, mentally, physically, and spiritually unfit. No, fortify those things. Your physical, your mental, and your spiritual. Instead of playing video games, which is making you dumb, docile, and weak. Movies, dumb, docile, and weak. And you're going to be more of a conformist when shit hits the fan, when the zombies come, right? All of a sudden, you've been already brainwashed enough from zombie movies. Government's going to intervene. Your right to travel is going to be reduced. Your right to groceries are reduced, right? Like, everything's reduced. Is that what you want? You want to align to the comfort zone? No. Get out of that. Get out of... This is all technology to make you dumb, docile, and weak and conformist. Obey, obey, obey. If you're not watching TV and listening to the rhetoric, if you're like me and then finally do listen to the Fox guy on TV, you're like, why do they keep bringing up racism? Because they don't want racism to stop. They're trying to get us divided against each other. Because if we're divided against each other, you can never stand and fight against the people that you should be standing and fight against to bring forth your freedom and prosperity. So that's ultimately this video is stop being dumb, docile, and weak. Stop. It's not helping you at all. It's not giving you better physical traits, mental traits, spiritual traits. It's reducing all those things, making you a conformist, and allowing this world to become a worse place. But it's okay because I'm having fun in the metaverse, and I got 15 tokens. I don't know, whatever currency is in your video game or metaverse. And stop fighting for artificial things, right? Like, oh, this game's fun because you're bored and everyone else is staring at their screen. No. Be the light of the world. Get off your screens, look people in the eye and say everything's okay. Instead of, you finally look up from your screen and it's like, what? Is it gonna rain? You should have already been aware enough. You're losing your awareness. You're losing your your conscious. You're losing your consciousness, let alone your conscience. You're losing your ability to understand reality. And I know this with a fact because when I get off of technology, I'm my greatest version. I can do anything I want. I enjoy life. I have full feelings in my fingertips. But if I was fat, lazy, eating the wrong shit, constantly stuck on TV or movies and stuff, I'd be fatter. I'd be unhealthy. I would be, my cardiovascular health would be terribly destroyed. So take care of yourself. And the way that you can do that is by getting off the internet, getting off cable television. Take a hike. Find some hobby. Start wrestling class. Whatever you got to do. Start jujitsu. Karate. Calisthenics training. Whatever it may be. You'll figure it out because this life, you have tons of options. But you don't even realize you have these options when you have a screen in your home. And when you have a screen in your home, what do? You can't wait to go turn on that fucking screen. God, turn off that fucking screen. And the only reason I'm even making videos these days is because I want the world to change. I want the world to see things in a different lens, in a different aspect. That's why I use very individual thought. The most individual thought you can come up with. I don't read a book and say that's it. Right? Like, that's it. No, I go through the lens. I run it through 1,000 variables so I can understand reality. I have to understand reality because when I don't, your brain will hallucinate a false reality. Are you going to continue living in artificial reality? Or do you want to start living in reality? Join me in reality, my friends. It's Opex. Start learning new things. Start fortifying your physical, mental, and spiritual stuff. Your body, your mental health, your organs, your vitamin D levels, your sugar levels. Start paying attention to these things. You can't really pay attention when you're a dumb, docile slave. So start taking care of yourself. Care of yourself. Make it a thing, a priority, because you come first. Without you, there's nothing left. There's no one to stand up. No one's going to help you. There's no Superman coming to save the day. It ain't happening. Jesus saved you from your sins 2,000 years ago. That's it, guys. No one else is coming to save you. Not your Donald Trump fucking savior. No one's here to save you, especially not Biden or a president. No one's here to save you. And they convince you with these movies, Superman's coming, Spider-Man's coming to save you. Stand back because there's a superhero coming to save the day. Where's the superhero? Where was the superhero when Hitler was in power? Where's the superhero, guys? Oh, it's us! It's you, motherfucker. It's you. You become the light of the world. You make the changes in the world. Because if you're a dumb, docile slave, you're going to watch the world burn, and then you're going to say, oh, I didn't do it. You did it. There's nothing worse than a person willing to allow these evil things to take place. It's not the evils of the world that's the problem. It's good men allowing it to happen. So be a fucking man if you're a man, and stop being a fucking robot or a cyborg. That's about it for this video. Plenty more content coming. If you want to pick a topic for my video, leave it down below. It's Opex. I'm out.